So very good evening to all of you. I hope you're feeling better. Better in the sense both in health wise as well as with respect to the subject. You felt little bit confident. Yes or no? You didn't get the slide? After the class, just let him know. I've already given the message, but it will be downloaded or uploaded on your portal today itself, along with the second slide, this slide, right? Okay, so let's begin with the remaining topics as well as today's topic, which I will be taking up. Yesterday I did Odishan temple architecture, and I told you that there are some temples, Pedadule temples, which houses Sanctum Sanctorum, and someone asked me the example. There is one temple named Brukteshwar Shiva temple. It is a pedadule type and it houses the Sanctum Sanctorum. So the point I am again repeating, so Rekhadule, Pedadule and Khakradule all have Sanctum Sanctorum. Mostly Sanctum Sanctorum are there in Rekhadule type, right? Khakradule too have them. But in Pedadule, it is very rarely seen. Very few temples have it, right? So if statement comes that Sanctum Sanctorum is only found in Rekha category of Odishan temples, it will be wrong, right? It's found in all the dual types. Okay? So let's start with the remaining topics first. So first is Martan temple. It is a sun temple, right? Before doing the temple, I'll give you the framework with respect to how temples are to be done. I think I did not give it to you yesterday. Anna? So when you are doing any temple, you should know the architectural style to which it belongs, whether it is Nagara, Dravida or Vesara, right? Under whose reign or dynasty that temple was built, right? If any sculptor or architect name is given, so that also you'll remember. The themes, prominent themes on the temple, the deity to which it is dedicated, whether it is a Shiva temple, Vishnu temple, or there are other deities also to which it is dedicated to, right? Then any geographical or physiographic division. For example, it's located on the banks of some river or any hill or range, is nearby, right? Then if it is a temple worshipped by any tribe or community, whether it has UNESCO World Heritage Site status or something is there in current affairs. So these are the aspects which you will see while doing temple. Last but not the least, the material used. Okay? Right? You noted it down? Yes. So we are doing Martan temple. It is in JNK. It's built by King Lalitaditya of Karkota dynasty, and he belongs to Kashmir region. The time period again is important. Somewhere down the line, if you get a question to arrange the, chronologically the time periods of the kings given, there also it will help you. So you should know that King Lalitaditya belonged to Karkota dynasty and it had this time period, right? Another important thing is, as I said, the material use. So it used limestone, right? Then it was invaded or destructed by many invaders. So once it was destructed by Sikandar Butshikan, right? Now this is not a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it is a site of national importance, right? Then there are other information of sun temples also given, belonging to different states. I've already shown you one question yesterday. I think I've pasted it today also. I'll just show you. So this is a prelims type of question which you can get, arranging the sun temples in north to south or east to west, right? Secondly, UPSC has also already, asked a question on Sun Temple which had Omkareshwar, right? So this is how you can, practice certain questions. Next thing is Konark Sun Temple. So we have done Konark Sun Temple yesterday while doing the Kalinga School of Architecture, so I'm skipping it. Then Maholi group of temples, again, they are not that famously known, but because again, it was in news because National Monument Authority is going to submit a report on the development of Maholi group of temples. So again, what you need to know is the region, the time period, right? It's developed architect by, the architect of this temple is Hemadri Pandit, and it belonged to which dynasty? It belonged to Sena Yadavs of Devgiri, right? So these are the things, again, the way I gave you the format or the framework in which you will be doing this stuff, right? Now why, again, just to give you an information, why certain things are given you in the magazine as other important news, because they are not that important, okay? But somewhere down the line, having framework, or these are not to be rote learned or memorized very strictly. They just have to be gone through at least twice or thrice while revising PT365. Okay? That's why yesterday I asked you that do you want me to do all these things also, because this does not require any explanation, but nonetheless I'll be telling you what is to be done. Now coming to Karkota dynasty, as I said, this can be asked and this is important. So Karkota dynasty time period around 6th century to 855 AD. Its most important king was King Lalitaditya, but because if you know that there was a king called Lalitaditya, you should know that he was not the founder of the dynasty. So who was the founder of Karkota dynasty? It was Durlabh Vardhan, and he was a contemporary of Harshvardhan of Pushyabhuti dynasty, right? So this is again an important fact which you can remember. They can give you a statement where they can confuse King Lalitaditya was contemporary to Harshvardhan, which will be wrong, right? So Karkota emperors were basically, or they patronized Hinduism, Buddhism as well, and the history of Kashmir is famously written by Kalhan in his Rajat Rangini book, but that book is written in 12th century AD, after the rule has ended. Okay? So this is an important thing, that history of Kashmir is given in Kalhan's Rajat Rangini. This infographic is given, yes. This you have to do it, at least you should know the importance and temples at different places. Arsavalli has already been asked by UPSC. Modhera is also very important. Martand is also very important, right? Telangana rock art site, this is not that important, it won't be asked, but you should know that this site belonging to Kasipeta had Mesolithic or megalith burials. So it is a megalith site. That is it. इतना ही पता होना चाहिए, to which state it belongs to and what kind of site it is. It is a Mesolithic and megalith site. ठीक है. Then coming to Adi Channanur, it's also a megalithic site, right? So when you are doing PT365, you have got to know that there are two megalith sites. This is very famous, Adi Channanur, and this was in news, that's why you can remember the name of it. Okay. Now what findings have been found or excavations done, they are not that important from prelims point of view. So you can skip that portion. Only the region, state, and what kind of site it is. Kai bari, you know, they can give you a question like this, that what is the site called Aditachanarur in Tamil Nadu is a famous site of Indus Valley civilization, right? Rigvedic age, something like that will be given. So you should know that it was a Mesolithic site. Okay? It is a famous port site, right? So things on these lines can be asked. Now coming to Archaeological Survey of India, now this is a general awareness kind of a fact which you should know. They have never asked a question of late in the last 9-10 years on this, but you never know that this body can be asked because it is important. First of all, year it's given that it was founded or it was established in 1861 by Alexander Cunningham. He was the first Director General of Archaeological Survey of India as well, right? Now this body is under which ministry? Obviously it will be under Ministry of Culture, right? What is its main function? क्या करता है? Preserve, conserve, archaeological findings, excavations. These are the main, research and development of, historical findings. So all this work is being done by the Archaeological Survey of India, right? Now, apart from this, the archaeological activities in India are, regulated by this organization under the provisions of this act, which we had done yesterday. Okay? So this is important. Also, this body or organization regulate Antiques and Art Treasure Act 1972, which again we have done yesterday. Okay? I told you in this Antiquity and Art Treasure Act 1972, 2 years were mentioned. One was 75, one was 100. Remember? So, revise kar lena from the slides, they will be uploaded today. So, nonetheless, you should know that these two acts are being, regulated. Sorry. हाँ. All archaeological sites जो भी हैं वो सब यही organization will see. इसके अंदर मतलब हाँ. तो आपका क्वेश्चन क्या है? What is your question? किस में included? Act में या ये वाला नंबर आप जो बोल रहे हो? Centrally protected monuments are different. Archaeological sites are different. Centrally protected monuments are those monuments which are protected by the center through one of its schemes. Center is having a dedicated, effort or initiative taken to protect those sites. I'm talking about Archaeological Survey of India. It regulates all or it manages all the archaeological excavations happening in India or historical evidences, right? आप confuse मत हो, ठीक है? Then these two bodies are also important apart from Archaeological Survey of India. One is National Monuments Authority, right? What does it do? Now this is directly dealing with the centrally protected monuments. So it is responsible for the protection of sites through management of prohibited and regulated areas around the centrally protected monuments, right? Now this is again a statutory body set up under the provision or under the provisions of this Act, 1958 Act. ठीक है, question आ जाएगा, National Monument Authority is set up under, right? So it's set up under this act. They can give you this act also, Antiques and Art Treasure Act, which will be wrong. So it is set up under Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958, right? As I told you, there has not been any question asked in the last 9-10 years, so you never know they can ask this because it is a very important and premier organization, regulating all your archaeological activities in India, right? Then again, this site you can skip. So although this site is an important one because it tells us that there is a evidence of 12,000 years of habitation in Chennai, right? And the artifacts which we have got in this site reveals that there was a continuous habitation from Mesolithic time period to Pallava period. Okay? But as I said, this will not be asked in your prelims as a form of statement. Only the site or the village, Vadakupattu, can be done, but there is very remote chance that this will be asked. Okay? Now coming to paintings and other art forms. Now why this is in news? Because the UNESCO has released 50 exclusive and iconic textile crafts under its report called Handmade for the 21st Century Safeguarding Traditional Indian Textiles. Okay? Now as you can see, if the report is mentioning 50 textiles, that means you have to go through the report to just see what are the different textiles and the state or region associated with it. Also, there is another reason why this topic is important. As I told you, PM recently gifted certain handicrafts to the foreign dignitaries of different countries, right? That also makes embroidery and textile an important topic for prelims point of view, whether this year or next year, right? So this report is important. Now coming to the question whether you will be able to remember those 50 textiles, it's up to you, right? Kya puchenge, we also don't know. But at least, as I told you, the way to deal with such things, 15 minutes or 10 minutes while having lunch or whatever, just scroll, and if it stays in your mind, good. If it does not, then it's your bad luck. Okay? So these are the things which you need to know. I'm just telling you the important topic. Now coming to another aspect, that it's not a topic which UPSC has never asked. It has asked this topic in different form, which I will be showing you how to cover this topic. So first of all, this report mentioned different types of textile. So there is a category called embroidered textile, resist dyed textile, dyed hoti hai wo, printed textiles and hand woven textile. That means even if you are, let's say, segregating out of 50 textiles, let's say 20, 25 textiles which you think that they should be known, you also have to know the nature of that textile. What kind of textile is it? It is embroidered, or is it dyed, or it is printed or hand woven? Because again, the questions, there was a question asked by UPSC on kalamkari painting. Sorry, kalamkari, right? So there, there in the options also it was mentioned whether it was embroidered or it was a dyed, so if such nuances again is being given by UPSC, that means these aspects are still important. Now, prelims type of question which you can expect. Kashida Kari. Try to solve this question. Assume that this is a question which is there in UPSC and you are to attempt this question. हाँ मारोगे, मारो, guess work तो लगाओ. Acha, tell me which one you are able to eliminate. Someone said Kanta work. Do you find that Kanta work in Karnataka? It's difficult for the males in the class to do this question, but there is a Kanta work. It's not there in Karnataka. Or is it there in Karnataka? 3 कितने options में है? It's there in A, C and D. So again, if you get certain pair type questions, although again UPSC is not giving you now scope to eliminate, but still if you get a question, good, try to attempt such questions. I've told you that embroidery and textile is important. Kanta is wrong. Sujini they have asked, and I want to tell you, this is one of the open test question in the year before Sujini was asked, you know. So we conduct open test and Abhyas just before the prelims. This is one of the open test question in the same year. UPSC also asked Sujini. And I can tell you the source of the question why UPSC could have picked Sujini, and we also picked up in the open test, because again there was a random article in the Hindu. Okay? So as I told you, I am just reiterating myself that you have to make test series or papers as your source to cover maximum topics in this section. Okay? So Kashidakari is not Himachal Pradesh but J&K. Now there are very small states, or you know, states having political implications, right? जैसे जो disputed areas होते हैं और insurgency inflicted areas होते हैं. So those areas are picked up. Why? For culture usually, because they also want to show the cultural aspects of those regions, that they are very important from cultural point of view as well. जैसे J&K हो गया, North Eastern region हो गया, West Bengal. So if you again want to prioritize the states, you can first give importance to those states where their festivals, cultural, you know, aspects are being asked by UPSC. Okay? Now this was the UPSC question in the same year. Pothukalli shawls, Sujini embroidery, Jamdani saris. So it's not as if UPSC doesn't ask this topic. So it is important, and this year it has become all the more important, right? So you can just go through the question also from the slides. फिर आते हैं another question of UPSC. It was asked in 2014. Again, UPSC had asked which of the above towns or places are famous for the production of traditional saris, right? Now, Kanchipuram, everyone knows that there are Kanjivaram saris. If someone is well versed, then Chanderi saris is also famous. Problem यहाँ नहीं थी. Problem थी 4 easily one can eliminate because it's not a famous sari town, right? So 4 is given in only one option. But again, the inspiration to ask this question was declaration by UNESCO again on certain towns in India having sari weaving clusters, right? So Kanchipuram and Chanderi are one of those towns which have been given by UNESCO or included in the UNESCO iconic sari weaving clusters of India list, right? So there are certain places in India which have been given this title of iconic sari weaving clusters or towns. One is Chanderi, it is in Madhya Pradesh. Banaras, Banarsi saris. Then Mubarakpur in Uttar Pradesh again is famous as sari weaving cluster. Paithan, Paithani saris. Yola, Maharashtra. Koyalagudam, Andhra Pradesh. Puchampalli, Andhra Pradesh. Some towns will be there in Telangana, तो वो आप correct कर लेना. Sualkuchi saris, Assam. So these are the towns which are under the UNESCO's iconic sari weaving cluster list. Okay, so this is also equally important because UPSC had asked this question. In your material, there is a infographic given, है ना, ये वाला. So it does not include J&K. What I have done is I have included some old infographic from your PT365 or MCR magazine, I don't remember. There you have mention of J&K having Kashida Kari and Pashmina, right? So you can mix both. and prepare certain textiles or नहीं नहीं फैब्रिक मतलब काइंड ऑफ टेक्सटाइल हाँ ब्रांड नहीं है कांजीवरम साड़ीज now if you're asking me you have to learn this. I told you the reason that there is a report which UNESCO has come up with. Kitna hota hai, it's up to you, but you have to do it, right? Then coming to Toys of India, why this was in news? Because recently the Bureau of Indian Standards has come out with certain quality control orders for making toys. That news is not that important, but yes, Bureau of Indian Standards and certain kind of traditional toys which we find in India are important. So this Bureau of Indian Standards was established under 2016 BIS Act. That means it is a statutory body, right? It is set up under which ministry or department? Department of Consumer Affairs and the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, right? What will be its objective? The name itself is Bureau of Indian Standards, so it does something to standardize or come up with certain standards, marking and quality certification in the products, right? Composition, 25 members. This is important. So it is presided by the Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, right? Sometimes they may play in the chairman or the president, so you should be knowing this. Okay? Now coming to again extra information. I think this is not given in your material. Is it given? Just check it. Mention hoga, but it might not have given you the kind of toy it is, right? Usually question will be asked in pair type only in this topic as well. So you should know Channapatna toys belongs to Karnataka, Kindle again Karnataka. So these are very important toys which are given. Again, I am suggesting you that give priority to areas which are in politically in news, right? Then there are toys which have received GI tags. So आप इनको भी priority दे सकते हो. You can give priority to first these toys. Channapatna toy, Karnataka. Nirmal toys, Telangana. Leather toys of Indore have received GI tag. Kinhal toys again Karnataka has received GI tag. Varanasi wooden toys. Itikopakka toys Andhra Pradesh. So these toys have received GI tag. So they are more important than the whole list of toys, right? The kind of questions which you can expect. Either question will be on these lines, which of the toys have received GI tag or recently received GI tag. So this question was asked in, no, this was not asked. I'll show you the UPSC question. This is a practice type of question. So this can be given as one form of the question. This is the most expected form of question in UPSC, where they will give you this topic in pair format. Huh. No, you are right. Right. It is set up around 80s only. What I can also recollect from my memory. Is it written 2016? Yes, it's written. But in which context it is written, I have to check. It was, no. I'll check it, in which context this 2016 is written. Yeah, yes, you're right. It was set up around 80s. It's not a recent body. But probably some function could be added. That's why it's written. This you can skip, but this is important from mains point of view or interview point of view. You should know that when it is compared with global market, how much share the Indian toys have, right? So in the global market, Indian toys only have 0.5%, right? Which is very low. That's why there are certain initiatives being taken by the government, like these National Action Plan for Indian Toy Story, Handicrafts, National Education Policy. Even there is Toycathon, right, being promoted to again generate interest and increase the market share of Indian toys in the global market, right? I think this infographic is there in your content, है ना? Important है. Then coming to crafts and news. Dekho, now this topic is very, very important, as I told you already. So crafts, handicrafts, embroidery, cloth, they are important. Because recently Prime Minister gifted at the G20 summit to different heads of the countries different traditional textiles or craft pieces. You never know that this question can also be given as a statement or information कि किसको क्या मिला. For example, the Indian Prime Minister gifted US President Joe Biden with Kangra miniature paintings. You never know, na? That's why this is also important. Who received what? Although it is a general awareness kind of a fact, but still, if this has been given, if UPSC wants to make this topic difficult, they can ask you this fact also. So what I have done, I have again compiled for you in the slide itself which president or prime minister received which craft, right? Now coming to different craft pieces. Pahari miniature paintings. And within Pahari school, Kangra style painting has been given, right? So there are different schools of painting, you know. First tell me different types of painting in India. I'll give you the framework for paintings. One is miniature paintings and mural paintings. Mural, you know, miniature, you know, mural paintings are drawn on the surfaces of the walls, etc., ceilings. Miniature is drawn on cloth or manuscripts or rocks, right? Now, coming to this understanding, after that, there are certain techniques of painting frequently used. Tempera and fresco. So, जैसे Ajanta. Ajanta is famously known for both these techniques. Mostly paintings are found in fresco style, but tempera is also found on Ajanta caves, right? Now, this is not a topic where I'm giving you the content for painting. I am again expecting that in updated PT365 material, there will be more famous paintings where I will be discussing this in length, but just understand the framework. Next thing which you should know is the literary texts giving us evidences of paintings. Take care. Any text which you know. Literary texts giving us evidences of paintings from the earliest time period. नहीं पता CCRT website revise कर लो, you will get the answer. There is Vatsyayan's Kama Sutra, which mentions the different parts of painting called Shadangas. There are 6 parts which are mentioned, right? So this is important. So you can just revise your CCRT. Again, I'm telling you that in detail I'll be doing it in whenever the content will be giving me scope to do it. Next aspect which you should know is separately which are GI tag paintings. This is exclusively for prelims, you should know. Cave paintings, then your different school of paintings. In this, very famous is Rajasthani school. So these are regional school of paintings, Pahari school, etc. Okay? This is exclusively for prelims. Why? Because again, just there was a question, Padmapani, Vajrapani are often illustrated paintings in which of the following caves, right? So cave paintings are very important. Then dynasty wise also you can prepare certain paintings. For example, if you're doing Rajputs, you can do Rajasthani paintings as well. If you are doing Mughal, you will be doing which kind of painting? Miniature, right? If you're doing Palas, Palas are considered to be the pioneers of, again, miniature paintings. Miniature paintings, saw a rise in Pala dynasty, and the Mughals, made the miniature paintings, or just gave the miniature painting its highest pinnacle, right? So this is again important, that you can do certain dynasties or rulers which were famously known to patronize paintings, right? So this is exclusively for prelims. This you can just base your understanding on, right? So among the Pahari school, there is a Kangra style of painting, right? Now the king under whose reign this Kangra style of painting blossomed or saw rise was Raja Sansar Chand, right? Now the main characteristic of Kangra style of painting is its lyrical and poetic kind of characterization of scenes and execution of different characters, right? So that means if it is poetic and lyrical depiction, then there will be delicacy of lines or more prominence given to the colors, etc. The popular themes, sometimes, again, I think UPSC has asked a question that Banithani school of painting belongs to which school of painting? Banithani is a theme often seen in which school of painting? So again, these regional schools are important. And Banithani belongs to which school of painting? Rajasthani. Okay. So sometimes themes are also important. So this Kangra style of painting under Pahari school had these popular themes like Bhagavad Puran, Geet Govind, Bihari Satsai, Ragmala, Baramasa. This Ragmala and Baramasa are very important themes which you should know that they are found in which all paintings. Secondly, there is a new NCRT, Introduction to Indian Art Part 2, which is solely dedicated on paintings. If you want to skip CCRT, you can only rely on your NCRT, which is Introduction to Indian Art Part 2, which covers your cave paintings, which cover your mural, miniature, a modern school of painting, everything. So that book can be referred. Matani Pachedi is a cloth painting given by the Prime Minister again. Now this cloth constitutes a temple and the goddess. Now this temple and the goddess has a link with one community, or the story has a link with one of the communities found in Gujarat, Wagadi community. Again, this community is important. They can ask, there have been questions on community also, if I'm not wrong. There was a question in 2014 or 13, Manganiyars are communities belonging to which state or their profession, something was asked, right? So, you know, you get tribal or communities, different community type questions as well. Now, this is again very significant because they have been labeled or described as Kalamkari of Gujarat. Kalamkari painting, as I told you, has already been asked by UPSC, and Kalamkari paintings are also found in the UNESCO's tentative list. Okay, I hope you know that there are two kind of list. One is tentative list and one is inscribed list or representative list. Okay, so if any craft or art has been recognized by UNESCO, it falls under the representative or inscribed list. Rest other crafts or heritage of India are given as part of nominations from Indian side, and they are in the tentative list. Okay. So Kalamkari painting is one of the painting found mentioned in the tentative list of UNESCO's intangible cultural heritage list, right? Pithora paintings, again the region is important, tribes are important. Pithora are associated with the tribals of Gujarat and Rajasthan, mainly Rathwa, Bhils, Nayak, Tadi tribes, right? So these tribes again are important. Okay? Agate walls, they have also been gifted. Basically, they have healing and balancing energy properties. So it is a semi-precious stone, specifically found in the seaport of Khambat. So Khambat region is important for agate. Patan patola is a material which is pure silk material. It is woven, right? And it has its origin in it is a dyed kind of a material, so this again is important. Kinnauri shawl belongs to Himachal Pradesh. Only that much is needed for this topic. Again, as I said, who has been gifted what can also be remembered. You never know, UPSC may ask this. Okay? This is a practice question from the topic which we have done. Try to solve this question. Patan patola craft. It has a GI tag from Rajasthan. So it has a GI tag. There are two facts being checked. Does it have a GI tag? Or if it has a GI tag, whether it is from Rajasthan. What if we have not given you Rajasthan? Patan patola has GI tag, are you sure? Pakka? Material में तो नहीं है? है? No, I don't think so. Second, it is the ancient art of double ikat woven in pure silk. Yes or no? Third, it was patronized by rulers of Solanki dynasty. ये नहीं पता होगा. So if someone can eliminate one, they can come to the answer. Yes, 2 and 3 are correct. Whether it has GI tag? Yes, it has GI tag. But it does not have GI tag from Rajasthan. Rajasthan, it has it from Gujarat. ठीक है? Woven मतलब ikat means dyed, bandhani type of a thing, tie and dye. So yes, it was patronized by Solanki dynasty. So it's said that Solanki dynasty rulers invited patola weavers from Maharashtra. So there are patola saris even in Maharashtra. ठीक है? And so these weavers from Maharashtra settled in Gujarat. ठीक है? Other important news. Again, This painting, I have told you what you have to do. You can just see which region and what kind of painting it is. And a very important painting is Pattachitra painting. What kind of painting is it? Scroll painting. What do you understand by scroll painting? A cloth based painting. Okay? So this is important. So cloth based scroll painting, and it mainly is related to the cult of Sri Jagannath and temple traditions of India. This is also one of the most important facts which you have to remember. Now this Pattachitra painting has very important themes, popular themes which are represented. These themes name are Thiya Badiya, Krishna Leela and Dasbatra Patti. Okay. So from these themes what you understand is the Lord Jagannath is also one of the themes in Pattachitra painting. Lord Krishna as Lord Jagannath again is an important theme. 10 incarnations of Lord Vishnu. Even Lord Ganesha is depicted. That suggests what? That it is a painting which is religious in character. Right? There are certain things which you need not remember, but through themes also you can keep it in mind. That's why it is, you know, having mythological characters in its depiction. That suggests that it is a religious painting. Right? Now there are certain materials used in this painting. The gum of Kaitha tree is used as a chief ingredient for making base of the pigments or the colors used. Right? So this is again important fact. Why? Because sometimes they can give you a statement that which trees, you know, is used as a chief ingredient, right? Or product of which tree is used as a chief ingredient. So this is important. Floral border is a must. So if statement comes, no, essay that a floral border is must in these paintings, this is, you know, representing the Pattachitra painting. This will be considered as correct. Natural colors are used because you can again infer that the chief ingredient used in the pigments of colors is coming from the Kaitha tree. They are predominantly icon paintings. What do you mean by icon paintings? Icon or icon paintings refer to those paintings which use, you know, kings or portraits as one of the themes in the painting. So if you can see also, na, Pattachitra. So there are portraits or characters, you know, depicted. So it is a form of icon painting. मतलब हाँ 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 सेम ही है, उसी का ही टाइप है. Then what are the GI tag paintings? So if someone asks you, is Pattachitra a GI tag painting? Yes. But it has received GI tag from both the states. Odisha is the most popular one, but it's also found in Bengal. So Bengal Pattachitras have also received GI tag. I hope you understand a kind of product, just to give you an example, Pattachitra can receive GI tag from 2 different states. You know na? ठीक है. हाँ. ठीक है. So this is important. That's why I'm telling you. So Mysore paintings have received GI tags. Madhubani paintings have received. Tanjavur paintings और Tanjore paintings have received. Nirmal paintings कहाँ की हैं? झारखंड, तेलंगाना. ठीक है. चेरियाल पेंटिंग्स Varli paintings, Kangra paintings, you know, so Raikover paintings, Jharkhand. Karupur Kalamkari paintings. One is Kalamkari painting of Andhra region and one is Tamil Nadu. So the recent one is Karupur Kalamkari paintings from Tamil Nadu which has received GI tag. Haan. I'll tell you. You understand what is GI tag? GI tag is a geographical indication tag given to a commodity or a product. Now, what does it imply? It implies that that particular region is home to that particular product or is having a kind of a niche to develop that product, right? Now, your question is, how can a GI tag product can be given for the same thing to two different states? So there are regions which can, just the way he pointed out also, so Rasgulla is famous of Bengal also and Odisha also, right? So every region will have a peculiar taste. Similarly, Patachitras of Odisha and Bengal will be different to an extent. So that region is, let's say Bengal is having a different kind of a niche for Patachitra and Odisha will be having a different kind of a niche, right? ओके कहाँ पे है कहाँ पर है आई थिंक इट्स तेलंगाना आई थिंक because Nirmal toys are also from Telangana, right? So Raikover is Jharkhand, not Bihar, Jharkhand. Why I'm not giving you the details of these GI tag paintings, as I told you in the updation classes I will cover. I don't want to give you too much of content beforehand, right? So this will be covered, don't worry. It's just that because certain kind of paintings were there, that's why I'm just giving you a certain kind of framework. Now coming to rock carvings of Ratnagiri, also known as petroglyphs, right? So a question can be asked. So why this is important? Because this rock carvings have been added to tentative list of UNESCO's World Heritage Site. So that's why a question can be asked. A kind of a question which you can expect. With reference to Indian art, what does petroglyph refer to? A kind of sculpture, a form of painting, a method to study prehistoric script, scientific method used in excavation. Is it A or B or C? क्यों? Petroglyphs क्या होते हैं? They are drawings or paintings done on the rocks. ठीक है? हाँ, जैसे ऐसे है ना, जैसे भीमबेटका में भी you have. So they are drawn by removing a part of the rock surface, as he's saying, कि थोड़ा सा निकालते हैं and then it's painted, right? So they have been recently added to the tentative list. That's why this can be a probable question in that form, which you should know, that what are petroglyphs exactly. Okay? Then Indian classical musical instruments, why they might be asked, because recently Santoor Maestro Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma died, right? So you should know the types of Indian classical musical instruments. Now this is covered in your CCRT website also, very good. So Avanad Vadya is percussion instruments, Ghan Vadya is solid instruments, Sushir Vadya is a wind instrument, Tat Vadya are stringed instruments, and then because of Santoor, you should know that Santoor is a stringed or a Tat Vadya, right? Extra information I have just added here, so you can go through it. What do you think, what type of questions come in UPSC? Have they asked a question on musical instruments or any question from music? What kind of question did they ask? It was not a question on music per se, it was a question on Satriya dance. अच्छा हाँ सॉरी संकीर्तन, नॉट सत्रिया डांस, यस संकीर्तन. अच्छा ठीक है. So it was a bhakti music. Or any question on classical music you remember? Dhrupad. Dhrupad and Hindustani classical music has been asked. So you should prepare classical music and should give them weightage as you give to classical dances. Right? This is not that important. Rang Swadhinta, ye aap skip kar sakte ho totally. What you should know is Shamang Leela. It is a festival celebrated in Manipur. So it is a kind of a theatre art which is performed at Manipur, and it's believed that it has been descended, or it is a form of Lai Haroba, again from Manipuri dance, and a ritual of Meiti community. So Shamang Leela, which community? Meiti community, Manipur. Right? Palm leaf manuscript museum. First palm leaf hai. Again, you never know, GK type questions are being asked. The only question which can be asked from this is which has been, in which state first palm leaf manuscript museum was recently inaugurated, right? So the answer will be Thiruvananthapuram. Dhokra art, important one. It is a kind of a metal art. Okay? Now this Dhokra art is a type of lost wax technique. Again, we have discussed what is lost wax technique. It is a traditional art of Jharkhand. Okay? So again, Jharkhand as well as West Bengal. So again, Dhokra can be found in West Bengal as well as Jharkhand. Okay? ये repeat हुआ हुआ है. Coming to Cyclopean wall. Now, what I will be telling you, or the information which I will be giving you, henceforth in the topics which we will be doing, is very important. Again, Cyclopean wall is important because it is in which city? Rajgir. And Rajgir, you all know, has a significance with respect to Buddhism as well, right? So Buddhist sites in India, there has been a question on Buddhist site in UPSC consecutively, and there is a document which I want you to refer and make very crisp notes. Is a document from Incredible India, Buddhist sites. There you will get an information which is very important for UPSC. What you have to do, either Google Incredible India Buddhist sites, or you can also Google Buddhist sites in India schemes. Okay? So the one which is of Incredible India, that you have to download. What I have done is, few sites which are mentioned in the current document, I have taken the a picture from there itself. Rest of the sites you have to cover from that document. It's very, very informative and very good. And the question which UPSC repeated twice was also lifted from one of the government documents. That is why the government documents are being referred for Buddhism, Jainism questions. Okay. Now coming to Cyclopean wall. Why this is in news? Because this wall was recently listed in the UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is in Bihar. And what is this Cyclopean wall? This is basically stones, used to encircle the city of Rajgir. It is also, assumed that this is basically a kind of a fortification done over there, right? Now coming quickly to the information other than Rajgir. So you have mentioned Nalanda Mahavira. Archaeological site of Nalanda Mahavira was also listed in one of the UNESCO World Heritage list. So this Nalanda Mahavira also we will be doing. There is mention of Mahabodhi temple of Bodh Gaya. This also we will be doing, that what all we can see from Buddha's life in these cities, right? So So coming to Rajgir. First of all, you should know that it is in Bihar. It was also the first capital of Bimbisar, right, of Magad. Now, what role did Buddha have in Rajgir, or what all did he do? Basically, Buddha made Rajgir as his monsoon retreat, or probably to, during monsoons he used to visit over there, right? He also taught sermons at Rajgir, specifically from Gridhakut Hill or Vulture Peak, which is found in Rajgir. Every tourist spot in Rajgir having Buddha's connection, you have to do. So what he used to do in the monsoons, he used to come to Rajgir, and from these massive hills, he used to, give sermons to his disciple. Now this Gridhakut Hill or Vulture Peak, you have to remember that they are located in Rajgir, right? Now also there is one fort, Ajat fort, where Bimbi and also Bimbisar jail in Rajgir. Now this has to do with modern, so you can skip. There is this Venuvan Vihar, again very important in Rajgir, because this was the Bimbisar's first offering to Buddha, right? So if a question comes in pair, pair format, that Venuvan Vihar is, and then the opposite city or state given will be something else. So you should remember that Venuvan Vihar is having a historical significance because it was the Bimbisar's first offering to Buddha, right? And it is in Rajgir. Okay. Now again very important, Rajgir has Vishwa Shanti Stoop. This is also located in Rajgir and it was built by Japanese. Now what is the significance of Vishwa Shanti Stupa? Can anyone tell me? It has something to do with World War. When the nuclear attacks were done at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, a Japanese effort was done to construct at Rajgir a Vishwa Shanti Stoop to signify or glorify world peace. And this is there in Rajgir. Another important fact, there are very important caves, People Caves and Satparni Caves at Rajgir, and Rajgir also is one of the site or places where the first Buddhist council was conducted or held, right? Now the first Buddhist council was held at Rajgir at People and Satparni Caves, right? So if they give you a statement that the first Buddhist council happened in Satparni Caves, so it will be correct, right? So at Rajgir, in these caves, the first Buddhist council was held, right? As I told you, Vishwa Shanti Stoop was constructed to commemorate the world peace after the World War II Nagasaki and Hiroshima attacks, right? And it was built by Nippon Myoji and some private society. That's why the name is written Japanese. Okay. Now coming to Nalanda, Nalanda Mahavihar was also mentioned. Now this is also to be done the way we have done Rajgir. Now this is a World Heritage Site, first fact, right? Second fact is, Huan Sang had mentioned about Nalanda University in his writings. Now many Indian scholars taught at Nalanda University. These Indian scholars are important. Reason being, again, if I am not wrong, this year they have asked a question on Buddhist scholars. Who all were Buddhist scholars? Zignag, some names were mentioned. So you should know that certain Buddhist scholars also taught at Nalanda. One was Nagarjun, he's a Buddhist scholar. Aryabhat also taught at Nalanda University, right? So it was not only visited by Gautam Buddha, it was also visited by Lord Mahavir, right? He was a Jain monk, right? Then Sariputra Stupa is in Nalanda University. It was built by Emperor Ashok. Now, this university of Nalanda was destroyed by Khalji Muslim invaders. They can give you that Mughal rulers attacked there. So, it was attacked by Khalji Muslim invaders. ठीक है? Then comes your Bodh Gaya. Very important site. क्या हुआ था बोध गया में? Enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. Bodhisattvas? Bodhisattva is what?
Bodhisattva, ma'am, in that sense, it's a different thing, like one who is helping others.
Right. Nahin, you will say that he attained enlightenment over here. You will not say Bodhisattva ki prapti hui. Bodhisattvas are those which are helping others to get enlightenment. So he taught.
That's why, because after that he lived also.
Haan.
So that in that sense, it is said that Bodhisattva ki prapti went on.
ठीक है, fine. Again, this was visited by Yuan Sang. So, which all sites were visited by Yuan Sang, or he wrote about them? One was Nalanda, and the other is Bodh Gaya. Bodhi tree is important, you all know. Now, second thing is under the Bodhi tree is the Vajra Asan. Now, what is this Vajra Asan all about? They can ask you this thing also, the relevance or significance of Vajra Asan in Bodhi tree. It was a stone which was placed by Ashok to denote the exact spot where Buddha attained enlightenment. So Vajrasan is not a yogic exercise. It is a stone or a slab which was brought by Emperor Ashok to denote that this is the exact spot under which or on which Buddha attained enlightenment. Right? So it was made up of sandstone. Right? Very important Chaitya, Animesh Lochan Chaitya, is there in Bodh Gaya. ठीक है? Ratnaghar Chaitya, Rajatna tree, they are all places which have significance of some form with Buddha. Just to give you an example. So Animesh Lochan Chaitya was where Buddha gazed at the Bodhi tree without blinking. Right? Again, these chaityas or these places can be asked in the pair form that what significance did Buddha or his activities had in these places. So you should know about it. Then Muchlin Pond is also very important. Reason being, here also you can see that when Buddha was meditating, he was protected by a serpent or a snake, right? Mahabodhi temple, you all know, is located at Bodh Gaya. It is the World Heritage Site, UNESCO's World Heritage Site. Mahabodhi temple was first built by Emperor Ashok, right? So this is also important. And again here at the temple you can see Buddha in the Bhumi Sparsh Mudra. That's why probably UPSC asked about what is Bhumi Sparsh Mudra. Isliye I am telling you that these documents which or the sources which I am telling you, they are actually very important. Right? You don't get this kind of information anywhere. Right? Till date, whoever is attending the class, if they have given first or second attempt, you may not have come across this information about Buddhist sites at any book or in any book. Even in A.L. Bhashan, you don't have such information. Okay, so this is very important. Famous universities of ancient India. This is extra fact which I am giving you. So one, we have covered Nalanda University. There is Udantpuri also in Bihar. It was constructed or set up during Pala rulers, right? Then Vikramshila is also in Bihar. Again, a very famous university. Jagadal University is in Bengal, and it was a center of learning of Vajrayan, right? Vallabhi was in Gujarat. Again, it was visited by Yuan Sang, Vallabhi. Now coming to Iron Age. Yes. Sorry? Yes, it's very relevant. I told you, na, when we were doing temple, the framework, geography or any physiographic feature you come across, it's important. So I was doing hills also, peaks also, na? So it's important. Now coming to Iron Age in India. What all do you know about Iron Age? Huh, very good. That it was one of the reasons, or the discovery of iron was one of the reason for establishing Janpads or Mahajanpadas. Very good. What else? Okay, or what is the significance of iron? One is discovery of tools, establishing or setting up of dynasty, then wars, okay. ठीक है, because of the development of tools, architecture, okay, or so you have a certain kind of understanding about Iron Age. Yes, I'll explain you very simply for those who don't know and how to relate to this topic. First of all, understand this thing, that we had different stone ages, right? The most important one in India, starting from Mesolithic times, then Neolithic. What is Neolithic? New Stone Age. What is Chalcolithic? It represents the first use of copper. What is Harappan civilization significant for? Use of bronze. This Iron Age is signifying or depicting the use of iron. And then your early historic phases. Now coming to this timeline, this is the most accepted timeline. Having said that, that does not mean if you go back to 2400 BC, you will not find Harappan civilization. ऐसा नहीं है. There will be sites which will be overlapping in Chalcolithic phase also, early Harappan sites which you can find in Chalcolithic phase. Similarly, you may find certain Neolithic sites in Chalcolithic phase, right? So don't have this confusion if you come across ki bhai why certain Neolithic sites are found in Chalcolithic, because they were just, you know, they were signifying a kind of a transition. Okay. Now after this understanding, let's understand you how you have to have a framework on this topic. So your IVC usually starts from 2600 BC to 1500 BC. Then your Vedic age starts 1500 to 1000 and 1000 to 600 BC. Now this 1500 to 1000 BC is known as Rig Vedic age, and this is known as later Vedic age. Then comes your 600 to 300 BC, where you see rise of Janpads or Mahajanpads, discovery of iron, rise of Buddhism and Jainism. Okay. So when we are doing this era specifically, what we have to look for is the pottery and the discovery of which metal led to civilization. So Indus Valley civilization is considered to be the first urban civilization. Why? Because of different reasons. One is discovery of bronze, then the urban planning, right? The second wave of civilization, urban civilization or urbanization, is marked by this phase. Why? What could be the reason? Because in the Janpads and Mahajanpad age, we see the discovery or we see the establishment of state polity. Right? So this is considered to be the second wave of urbanization. This is the first wave of urbanization. So here you see metals like bronze, you see pottery like black and red ware. Okay? Here, what is the characteristic or significant pottery type found? Very good. Painted grey ware. Right? Here, what is the important pottery which signifies the growth of second wave of urbanization? Northern black polished ware. That does not mean that यहाँ पर और कोई pottery नहीं मिलती है, black and slipped ware, not slipped ware, black and dotted pottery, something like that. There are different names for it. But these are the most important type of pottery which you do not have to miss under this phase. ठीक है, यहाँ पर black and red ware, यहाँ पर PGW painted grey ware, and this is northern black polished ware. Right? Thirdly, what you have to look for is, because we are doing Iron Age, this Iron Age was also very important phase for scientific developments and works. Specifically this phase. Right, which we will be doing, what all scientific works we find in Iron Age, which again is not given in your material. Okay, so this is the basic connection between Iron Age and the kind of tools or pottery or metals which we have to learn. Okay, shall I go ahead? When did I say that Rigvedic age was the second wave of urbanization? I told you the 600 to 300 phase, the Iron Age. Okay? Now coming to how this Iron Age started in India. So Indo-Aryans came in waves, everyone knows, and Indo-Aryans mainly came from the Central Asian region and Iran, right? So they finally settled in the Indo-Gangetic plains, right? So these people signify, or the presence of these people signify, transformation from pastoral to agricultural settled communities, right? Rigvedic was pastoral. So with the discovery of iron, as I told you, there was cutting of forests, there was inhabitation, there was a settled, way of life. And that was prominently seen by growing crops and through agriculture, right? So these people settled in Indo-Gangetic plains during this phase finally and helped in giving rise to Janpads and Mahajanpads, right? Are you? Wait. Now we had oversimplified the phase of 1500 to 1000 and then 1000 to 600 and 600 to 300. Now in Vedic period, what we usually found specifically between 1500 to 700 BC, again this migration was happening of Indo-Aryans. So in the Rigvedic period, the Aryans were always on the move and they are always on the go, and they had conflicts with the local people, right? So their technology specifically of this period only amounted to constructing chariots and iron tools and weapons of war, because that was the need of their stay, right? Because they wanted to stay and inhabit, so that's why they were having local wars, etc. That's why chariots and war weapons were developed using iron, right? Pottery, I told you that it was painted grey ware. There was no brick technology in this phase. Now, because of the wars, uh, there was also the need for sacrificial rituals. So king used to perform yagnas with the help of priests, and that's how the sacrificial ceremonies were again a characteristic feature of this phase. Right? Then comes your Yajurvedic period. 700 to 400 BC. Don't get confused. If you're not able to understand this, just resort to the simpler understanding which I gave you, which is also found in the NCRTs. 1500 to 1000, 1000 to 600 and 600 to 300. ठीक है? So Yajurvedic phase में क्या होता था? Basically, it was in search of agriculture, land and metallic sources. India's finest deposits of iron was finally found during this phase in the southeast Bihar, right? And this, the finest iron discovery of high grade could result into we or the Indo-Aryans cutting forests, okay? And then we see the emergence of urban societies. How? So there were changes happening from tribal to a more structured urban society, highly developed priesthood, right? Commodity production was becoming or was getting established. What is commodity production? Production for trade, not for own consumption. That is what you know, you call as commodity production. Trade routes were being developed. You must have read NCRT where you must have seen Uttarapath and Dakshinapath. So that was happening because of the commodity production and rise of urban societies. There were traders called Sartavahas and Vaidehikas. Now these terms are very important. UPSC asked these terms. So they were basically caravans and traders. As I told you, a lot was happening in science and technology, which is again a very important characteristic feature of Iron Age in India. There were fields like science, medicine and technology being developed. There were universities being developed, like Takshila was there during this phase, where Panini, a grammarian, also taught. Okay? Jivak was there. Who was Jivak? Was his specialized field was medicine or astrology? So Jivak was there, Janpads were there. When we see Janpads, we see rise of 16 Janpads. Okay. This you can do from NCRT. So there were 16 Janpads and Mahajanpads. Their capital is also important. What I want to tell you is the science and technology development, which you don't get otherwise in books. Yeah, this is very problematic. So someone asked me that Iron Age was in South India also. So that was there, as I told you yesterday. So it was in the form of megaliths, right? I told you the relevance of megaliths socially, culturally. They were burial sites, so you could see what was buried along with the dead. Emergence of science. So what was happening in astronomy and mathematics? Sulva Sutras. Sulva Sutras has already been asked by UPSC, I think in 2011 or 12. So what are Sulva Sutras? They are texts dealing with sacrificial altars, right? Where you are getting the information on how exactly, at which measurement, or which trigonometry rule will apply to make a sacrificial altar. So this knowledge of geometry was getting developed. Arithmetic operations like quadratic equations, etc., was also being developed. जहाँ यज्ञास होते थे, right? that Vedi, what you call. Then in chemistry also, you know, many discoveries were there in Iron Age, like for example, ceramic bowls, dishes. So there was again the knowledge of iron smelting, materials, which was, you know, spreaded by different scholars at that point of time. Botany also. Now this is one of the topic which is usually also spoken by the Prime Minister. Botany and medicine, the knowledge of botany and medicine which we have in ancient Indian texts. So this is again important, that what was happening exactly is that we were knowing about the different parts of plant or how to propagate them. That again was coming from our ancient texts, right? Zoology also was known. This is the most important thing. So you have this text called Punarvasu Aitreya, which was, so he was not a text, actually he was a teacher who taught medicine at Takshila University. You have names of certain teachers or, you know, scholars who wrote treatises on medicine, right? Charak Samhita is a very important text which is on surgery. Again, this has been spoken by our Honorable Prime Minister on many different occasions, right? So Shrut Samhita again is important. So these books which, you know, you have here, they were all written around iron phase, iron technology phase, right? So you can just relate with this development, that with the discovery of iron, we were also getting to know different processes of science, whether it, you know, was iron smelting, and we got to know that, you know, how chemistry can be learned and taught, medicine, everything, you know, you used to have in this phase, right? Huh. हाँ राइट हाँ होगा, मगर वो है तो आयन एज के टाइम पे. दैट्स व्हाट वी आर डूइंग. ठीक है, 600 to 300 BC इज व्हाट वी आर डीलिंग विद. अब वो 400 है, 300 है, यू जस्ट नीड टू नो द डेवलपमेंट्स. 4 नहीं 100 होगा, चेक कर लो. श्योर हो? Sushruta Samhita was written around 600 BC and Charak Samhita हाँ शायद 200 BC, right? ठीक है, देख लेना आप इसमें. Just have this understanding that these texts were written long before. Sometimes, you know, what happens when we read through NCERTs, we don't get to know and understand like this. That's why this is important. हाँ, आपको क्या करना है कंटेंट? आपको रिसर्चर थोड़ी बनना है. मतलब, यू नो, दिस इज अ फेमस सेइंग दैट यू हैव टू बिकम अ डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर एंड नॉट इंफॉर्मेशन कलेक्टर, राइट? So to become a district collector, if you will start collecting the information the way you do, will not serve you the purpose, because there is overload of information, है ना? So if you ask me, I always tell the aspirants that jitna ho sake, you have to limit your readings. If you will start making exceptionally good notes, then you are qualified to become a teacher and not a district collector, right? Or you are qualified to do research or PhD. Your task is to clear this exam and not publish books later on, right? Your notes will not be published. हाँ, हो सकता है when you become, you get selected, then you can publish your notes, but not now. So you can't actually make perfect notes or, you know, search for different books. हाँ, नहीं, उसमें टेक्स्ट थोड़ी लिखे हुए थे. यस, सो इंडस वैली से ये हरप्पन सिविलाइजेशन और स्क्रिप्ट इज नॉट डिसाइफर्ड ना. So you can't really get the information. You only get information of this phase where texts were written. ठीक है, हाँ. ठीक है. Now coming to Rakhi Gadi. Now Rakhigadi is an Indus Valley site. Now how you have to cover this topic, I'll just give you the framework first. Everyone is aware of Indus Valley civilization, no? Nothing to teach you in this. I'll give you the framework and the important pointers and then we'll go ahead. So when you're doing Indus Valley civilization, Bronze Age, pottery type, town planning, social or how society was or economy was. So we get inferences of economy through seals, jewelry ornaments or amulets. We get knowledge about religion. What was the kind of religion the Indus Valley people adopted? Nature worship. They were polytheistic. That means they believed in many gods, worshipping of many gods of many kinds. Mother goddess also. Phallic worship, worshipping of genitals. So these were the characteristic features or what you call as characterize the religion during Indus Valley civilization, right? Specifically, you have to do sites and their findings. Also, there can be a question on arranging the sites from north to south, east to west, South Indian sites also, if there are any of Indus Valley or in the Malwa Plateau or Central Highlands, you should know, right? Because there have been questions on sites and their findings, right? So in this framework, you will be doing Indus Valley civilization, right? So Rakhigadi is in Haryana. What all did you find over there? Skeletal remains, stair-tight seals. We'll be doing separately the seals information because it's not widely given in your standard textbooks. Settlements, jewelry unit is very important. Rakhigadi mein mila tha. Again, there is a map which is given. This is lifted from your NCRT. You should know which were the sites which were there entirely in India. So Harappa was a site found in India, Pakistan, right? So some information like this you should know. So similarly, where exactly was Mohenjo-daro, Sukta, Gandhor, Amri, they are all outside India, right? Which were inside India, you should be knowing them completely. As I told you, there can be a question on arranging the sites north to south or east to west or southernmost or easternmost, because there has been a question of an Ashokan site given by UPSC that which of the Ashokan site was easternmost, right? So such type of questions can also be found. What was the script? Huh? Yes, in India. Okay. There are sites given and their findings. You please tell me, shall I read from this or will you be able to cover? Because nothing is to be taught in here. What do you want? Important ones are already mentioned in the content. Ye to karni hi hai, right? What extra I want to tell you is that you should from the map see that which one is outside India and which one is inside India, which is northernmost and which is southernmost or easternmost or westernmost. Ye work aapko karna hai, right? From the map. There has been a question asked by UPSC that which one of the following is not a Harappan site, right? So you should know about the names of the Harappan sites. Apart from this, so this we've done. What was the religion? Natural, nature worship, polytheistic and phallic worship, right? Seals. Now this is important. A question can be asked on seals specifically. So mainly the Indus Valley seals which the archaeologists have found out, they were made of steatite, mostly of steatite and occasionally of agate and sherd. Now some seals were also found in ivory. Now the purpose of producing seals was mainly commercial. There were different sizes ascribed to the seals which suggests that there were certain kinds of different uses to which seals were used for, not only commercial but they could have official, economic, political or religious purpose of seals as well, right? This also reveals the urban character of Indus Valley society, right? Every seal you find in Harappan Valley or Indus Valley civilization was engraved in a pictographic script, which we haven't deciphered yet. Sometimes the seal also has trees and nature symbols, ships, boats, so secular symbols were also there, religious symbols were also there on the seals. There were animals also on the seals, the most important ones being unicorn, horned bull, rhinoceros, tiger, right? There were, as I told you, religious symbols also on the seals, like swastik also could be seen in the seals found in Indus Valley sites, specifically at Lothal, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, right? So let's do this question on the basis of the information we have just done. Which of the following is correct regarding in the context of seals in Indus Valley civilization? First, the purpose of producing seals was mainly commercial. The seals were mostly made of ivory. Every seal is engraved in a pictographic script. Someone is saying C, someone is saying A. How many for A's and C's? A. C? रेस्ट. अच्छा भाई अभी तो करा है ना ये 1 and 3 कैसे होंगे? अच्छा 1 and 3 है, सॉरी. Every seal is engraved in pictographic. So C, who all was saying, just raise your hand. आगे बैठे हो तब भी बोल रहे हो. Every seal is engraved in a pictographic script. I specifically mention this. ये जो every word होता है, all of the scripts, सील्स, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होते हैं नोट डाउन करने के लिए, राइट? जैसे पट्टाचित्रा में देयर वाज वन कंपल्सरी फीचर. व्हाट वाज दैट? अ फ्लोरल बॉर्डर इज अ मस्ट. ठीक है, सो जहाँ ये मस्ट एवरी ऑल आता है, देयर यू हैव टू बी वेरी कॉशियस. टाउन प्लानिंग एंड ड्रेनेज सिस्टम यू ऑल नो, राइट? नाउ व्हाट इज again an important thing is drainage system. Which site is very important for drainage system? Dholavira, for water conservation, है ना? Famously Lothal. So I told you Dholavira is important. हाँ, इसमें क्या है? Why this is in news? Dholavira और वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग, वो तो आपने पढ़ा है, बट वाई दिस वॉज इन न्यूज़? बिकॉज इट ऑल्सो वेंट टू द यूनेस्को's टेंटेटिव लिस्ट. इट वॉज अ नॉमिनेशन फ्रॉम इंडियन साइड. ठीक है, so that is why Dholavira was in news in the last 2 years. I think in 2019 it went 1920. हाँ, so Dholavira, what are the prominent features? So instead of stone bricks, there was use of stone bricks instead of mud bricks here. This is a peculiar feature of Dholavira, right? Usually you don't find use of stone in Indus Valley sites. You only find mud bricks. but here stone bricks were used. Okay? As I told you, the water harvesting system conservation strategy is important. Also, town planning was perfected here. There was a signboard which was found in Dholabira, right? So this signboard is also important, which however archaeologists have not been able to decipher, but there was a finding of a signboard, kind of a wooden impaled structure which was found in Dholavira, right? This was the question which was asked by UPSC: which one of the following is not a Harappan site? Saugora, it is a Ashokan site. ठीक है, ये questions भी आप practice कर सकते हो. जैसे there is this question which I told you, that such type of questions you can look for, that arrange the sites from north to south, Dholavira, Lothal, Kalibangan, Rakhigari. So such type of questions you can practice. Burial system of Indus Valley civilization. ठीक है, जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन रोपर अ मैन वॉज फाउंड बरीड विद अ डॉग. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ बुर्जाहोम और न्योलिथिक साइट्स में ये होता था. दिस कुड बी ऑल्सो फाउंड इन दी इंडस वैली साइट्स, राइट. नाउ दीज बरियल सिस्टम्स और फाइंडिंग्स अगेन टेल अस हाउ द सोसाइटी वॉज, राइट. यहाँ पढ़ लेना बिकॉज इंडस वैली इज़ वेरी इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड. नाउ कमिंग टू महाकालेश्वर टेम्पल. 5 minutes break. ठीक है. Ten minutes break. Mahakaleshwar temple. So we know how my voice is audible now. Now, fine. So Mahakaleshwar temple was in news because recently Prime Minister inaugurated the first phase of Mahakal Lok. It's also in news because Anushka Sharma and Virat Kohli also did certain puja, right? So it's there in Ujjain on the banks of river Shipra. So Ujjain city is important, right? Now to which god it is dedicated to? It's dedicated to Lord Shiva, right? Now coming to temples and pilgrimage sites, UPSC is often asking such questions. जैसे for example Bodh Gaya is also having Mahabodhi temple, right? Khajuraho also has temples and it's an important pilgrimage site. Shirdi is a pilgrimage site. Nasik, you have Trimbakeshwar at Nasik, right? Tirupati again a pilgrimage site. Now this is a type of question which was asked by UPSC in 2016, right? So these pilgrimage sites have been asked with respect to their physiographic division or plateaus or highlands. Now again, earlier UPSC used to give you options for elimination or scope for elimination. For example, if someone knows about Nasik, Nasik is not there in Malwa plateau, है. So if you eliminate 4, you could answer the question by marking C. But the purpose of showing you this question is that these places are important if they have been asked by UPSC, whether it is Bodh Gaya, whether it is Nasik, whether it is Shirdi, Tirupati, right? And Nasik, because it has Trimbakeshwar, it is also one of the Jyotirling. That's why Jyotirling can also be asked. Okay? Then another type of question which was asked by UPSC was this. See again, 15 में they asked, 16 में they asked. So 15 was place of pilgrimage Sri Sailam, Omkareshwar, Pushkar. Omkareshwar has been asked twice. So if someone wants to know that how they need to prepare for UPSC, I always tell from UPSC perspective, you should see on daily basis UPSC prelims questions, because again the questions or the options also they give, they are to be prepared. It's not as if only once they will ask Omkareshwar or only once they will ask Bodh Gaya, right? So you have to prepare these pilgrimage sites keeping in mind UPSC papers as well. Okay? From temple, they had asked this question only, Panchayatan. What is Panchayatan style? TP365? Okay, so it is a style of temple construction. This was easily answered, or this could be easily answered through your NCRT. This was again a very easy question which was asked by UPSC. Kya hai Nagra Dravida Vaisara? Now everyone knows temple styles, right? Now coming to Mahakaleshwar temple, one, Ujjain is an important site. Second, your chief deity. Third, because we all know that we have to do its founder also, or the one who established it. We are not very clear on the timeline and the one who actually established it, so that fact can be skipped, right? However, you know, it is said as per Puranas that it was established by Prajapati Brahma, but exact person or this is not known, so you can skip this fact. But when you are doing Mahakaleshwar temple, Ujjain was ruled by different dynasties. So one of the ruler called Kumar Sen, who was from Pradyot dynasty, helped in looking after or looked after the temple. Yes, वो ब्रह्मा भगवान वाला, हाँ ठीक है, not a person but God Brahma, ठीक है, okay. Then that's it. What you can also learn is that it was a culmination of Bhumij, Chalukya and Maratha architectural styles. Now you will ask me what is Bhumij and what is Maratha, because Chalukya you all know. So I'll just show you through picture what is Bhumij style. It's there in your handout also. Let's do this activity. There are two images. Read Bhumij and read Maratha and tell me which one is Bhumij and which one is Maratha style. Why we are doing this? Because Mahakaleshwar temple is influenced by three architectural styles, Bhumij, Chalukya and Maratha. So according to what is written in the content, what can you infer that which image is pertaining to which description? Bhumij is upper one. Why? Because it says that it is having minor spires decorating the central spire. Central spire is this and minor spires, pillars. And Maratha is saying that temples of Maratha kingdom were conspicuous by their wooden sub-mandap and cypress-shaped columns. So these are cypress-shaped columns, and you know, you don't actually understand the architecture, and you tend to also get lost also. They are conspicuously constructed, right? See, so many columns or so many pillars over there. So this is Bhumij style and this is Maratha style. Chalukyan style you all know, that is a blend of Nagara and Dravida. So Mahakaleshwar temple is a blend of Bhumij, Chalukyan and Maratha style. Bhasmarti is an important feature of Mahakaleshwar temple, to which women are not allowed to see. They can be present, but they have to hide their face or hide their eyes, right? नहीं, अंदर तो कोई भी अलाउड नहीं है. हाँ, when the final thing is over, भस्म आरती is over. हाँ हाँ, तो मैंने भी यही बोला, भस्म आरती में they are not allowed, right? And even when the final भस्म आरती is over, still female cannot go in the main temple, near the main idol. Okay? Now the kind of questions which can be asked states. Second, I showed you certain UPSC questions. Nasik physiographic division. River can be asked. For example, Omkareshwar is there in Ujjain. It is located in the banks of, or situated near the banks of river Shipra. Right? So this is how you are going to prepare. What I can do from my end is, when your whole module of PT365 will be over, I will create one document for the physiographic divisions of these places, if they are possible to be found, like for example river or plateau or hill on the lines of UPSC. So you need not waste time on this to make your own notes. I will give you after the module is going to end, right? Ujjain, it's also called as Avantika in ancient texts. Famous scholars who were associated with Ujjain, Brahmgupta, Kalidas, you should know, Shankaracharya, you should know, right? Maharaja Jai Singh also established a observatory over there. So he established 5 observatories. One was in Ujjain, rest others were where? Huh? At my time, I made an acronym. You can also remember this. It will help you. So these are again tools which can help you to remember certain facts. DJ moves or DJ move. Okay. So one observatory, Delhi. This is Ujjain. This is Jaipur. This is Mathura, yes. V, Varanasi. So DJ move. Again, you asked me how to remember certain facts. I used to do these things for certain things. Wherever possible, I used to make my own acronym and my life was little bit sorted. हाँ, क्या बोल रहे हो? विजयपति और प्रजापति? I'm not able to understand what you're saying. हाँ. I don't know. Vrajapati, I don't know. Prajapati, I know. Yes. These were all built by Maharaja Jai Singh of Jaipur. ठीक है? जैसे है ना दिल्ली में भी है ऑब्जर्वेटरी, एस्ट्रोनॉमी और वो सब दिखते हैं आपको, प्लैनेट्स दिखते हैं, है ना? Then Ujjain also has importance in philosophy or our Hindu rituals. So you all know that there are certain last rites to be done after one is deceased, right? So Ujjain is also considered one of the 7 cities where one can attain moksha, according to Garud Puran. Garud Puran is a text which deals with punishments or stories relating to what happens when one is deceased or has died, right? So there the Garud Puran is considered or is letting us know that there are 7 cities which are considered to be cities where moksha can be attained, and Ujjain is one of them. Okay? So this also you can know. And Ujjain had many names. Again, ancient names can be asked. There have been questions asked by UPSC on ancient names. So Ujjain had many names like Pratikalp, Padmavati, Amravati, Kumudvati, Vishal, Kushashti, etc. Right? And it was also made capital, Mughal capital by Akbar. So Ujjain had been a Mughal capital as well. Again, a question can be given to you on specific city where Ujjain can be given to you, and then there will be certain facts which will be asked. So yes, it had been a Mughal capital also during the reign of Akbar, right? Now coming to UNESCO's tentative list of World Heritage Sites. You all know tentative list is where the nominations go. So recently Vadnagar town, which is also a birthplace of our Prime Minister, has gone to the tentative list of UNESCO's World Heritage Site. Vadnagar, I'm again highlighting the importance. Why it is important? Because it is also the birthplace of our present Prime Minister. Otherwise, it has an ancient archaeological importance. Major ancient trade routes crossed each other at Vadnagar town. Also, it is a port city. Industries setup was there for shells and beads. It has also been mentioned by Chinese traveler Huan Sang. So that's why this town is also important. Then the next tentative or nomination has gone to the UNESCO's tentative list is Sun Temple at Modhera, right? And rock sculptures of Unakoti. So Unakoti place should be known to you that it is in Tripura, right? ये information देख लेना. We've done sun temples or temples framework, so वही लेना है आपको. Basically for prelims, river, place, architectural style, king, and to which deity it is dedicated to. ठीक है? Sun rock. फिर Unakoti, Tripura. Basically, it is also a site where we can find the worship of Lord Shiva, right? And that's it. इसके लिए इतना ही है. These are the World Heritage Sites in India. The list, the recent ones are not included. So these are the World Heritage Sites which have been inscribed in the UNESCO list, right? So for example, in Delhi you have Humayun Tomb, Qutub Minar, Red Fort. So if a question comes that which state has the maximum World Heritage Site, again that can be a GK or general awareness type of question. So you should know that which state has maximum World Heritage Sites. ठीक है, अब इस तरीके के questions आते हैं, so you should be knowing about it. Do we have a World Heritage Site at Telangana now? Ramappa Temple. Okay? So that is not included. So you can prepare the state which does not have any World Heritage Site with the least number of World Heritage Sites, and the state having the least number of sites and state having the maximum number of sites. Again, this I will be giving you after your module or before your module gets over, not after. This is a type of question which you can expect on World Heritage Site. Any site will be given to you like Humayun Tomb, and certain important facts can be given like this to check you on. First, it is also known as dormitory of Mughals. Interior is largely octagonal in shape. Third, it was built during the lifetime of Humayun. Is 3 right or wrong? हाँ हाँ रॉन्ग ना. हाँ, टूम तो हमेशा भी इट्स बिल्ट आफ्टर वन हैज डाइड, तो ये तो वैसे भी नहीं हो सकती है. सो दीज आर द लॉजिकल स्टेटमेंट्स और एलिमिनेशन स्टेटमेंट्स विच यू शुड लुक फॉर, राइट? सो इफ यू एलिमिनेट 3, you are still at the option, closer option, which will be this also. So yes, it is also known as dormitory of the Mughals. ठीक है? So these are the finer things or nuances which you can learn in the class. Now Anangtal Lake, maximum 2-3 points in this also. First, it is not a World Heritage Site. It is a site or a monument of national importance which has been given status under Ancient Monument and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act. Now under whose dynasty or whose reign was it built? It was built during the Tomar dynasty, right? The king name was Anangpal II. ठीक है? So Anangpal II of Tomar dynasty built it, or it has been ascribed to Anangpal II. ठीक है? This we have already done in the previous class. So Tomars and Rajputs usually used to reign nearby or in Delhi region, right? Tomars were the feudatories of Pratiharas, and their timeline is around 6th to 11th century, right? Now, basically, Anangpal II has been credited to founding of the city of Delhi in the year 1152. Here the information is given wrong, so you need to correct it. Here it's written that they founded the city of Delhi in 736 AD. It's wrong. ठीक है, इसको learn मत करना. The other fact which you need to remember is that Anangpal II is credited to have found out the city of Delhi in the year 1152. His reign was 1151 to 1181 AD. I'm again repeating, Anangpal II's reign was 1151 to 1181 AD. He founded the city of Delhi in 1152, right? After the Tomars, Delhi Sultanate rule was established in 1192. Specifically, a battle is very famous, that is Battle of Tarain, where Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated. So Delhi Sultanate established its rule in Delhi in 1192 after the Battle of Tarain. ठीक है? Mangarh Hillock. Where is it? Rajasthan. It's associated with which tribal community? Bhils, right? And Garasya tribal communities. So this is important. And this Mangarh Hill massacre or incident happened. Why? Why did this happen? So large number of Bhil community gathered there under the leadership of Govind Guru. So basically they were there to discuss over the improvements or in their religion or faith or worship or how they should be improving. It had nothing to do with attacking the Britishers or attacking the king. But the ruler at that point of time got so afraid that he contacted, so basically told the Britishers to help him out because of large gathering of people at the Mangarh Hill. So they opened fire at them the way Jallianwala Bagh massacre happened. That is why it is also known as mini Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Okay? So people gathered over there under the leadership of Govind Guru just to discuss the improvements in their religion, faith, and this thing, it had nothing to do with any political agenda, right? But there were certain steps which were taken by Govind Guru to revive or reform the Bhil communities. So he urged them to stop taking liquor, etc. He promoted a casteless society, right? So he was a reformist. Then coming to projects under Prasad scheme. This scheme is very important. So under which scheme do we establish circuits? Is it Prasad scheme or is it Swadesh Darshan scheme? Certain tourist circuits are developed. Is it Prasad or is it Swadesh Darshan? What is the main objective of Prasad scheme? Both of them were, both of them started during the same timeline. So basically, its main aim is to develop pilgrimage destination or sites to provide complete religious tourism experience. Okay. So in here, again, the sites are refurbished, conserved, or made as tourist destinations. So recently, under the Prasad scheme, the conservation work has been taken up for Rudreshwar temple and 2 more other sites. Sri Sailam temple, Kurnool, and the third is at Bhadrachalam, Telangana, right? So these 3 sites have been taken up to become a tourist destination site. But again, when we do Ramappa temple or Rudreshwar temple, it is also known as 1000 Pillar temple. This has already been included in the UNESCO World Heritage Site, right? Again, when you are doing a temple, you will apply the same format. Which material? Granite and dolerite, sandstone, right? It's basically who built it? Who built it? Under which dynasty it was built? कहाँ कट गया? कर लो रिवाइज थोड़ा सा कल्चर. It's a World Heritage Site now. You can expect a question on this, right? Similarly, you will do the format again in which we will be doing this Sri Shailam temple as well. I just want to bring to your notice this place, Bhadrachalam. You remember there was a question on Sari where Bhadrachalam was given, right? So that means this site has a significance in the eyes of UPSC. So in this site or place, there is Sri Sita Ramchandra Swami Vari Devasthanam situated. It's situated on which river? River Godavari, right? And this place is famous because from here, the Mata Sita was abducted by Ravan. So that's why this place is important. Okay. Other important news you can cover? Small facts are given. Ambedkar circuit is important. You should know that at which place he was born. He got converted to Buddhism, right? So this circuit is being developed to cover, or this special tourist train has started to cover Ambedkar circuit, right? So this is important, again places. Then comes your Adi Shankaracharya, very important topic, because I will explain you the philosophy part from this topic before I start this topic formally. So there are, from where do you do Indian philosophy? Do you know what all is covered in Indian philosophy? Achha. So you are doing from Nitin Singhania. Okay. Any other textbook which you are referring or guidebook you are referring? NCERT में है क्या? So there are two schools in Indian philosophy mainly, Astic and Nastic schools. Astic school is which school? Which believes in God or authority of Vedas precisely. And Nastic schools are those schools which do not believe in the authority of Vedas, right? So those schools which do not recognize or accept the authority of Veda are बुद्धिज्म जैनिज्म कहाँ आएंगे? ठीक है. Astic schools, you must have heard about Samkhya, Vaisheshika, और हाँ सॉरी वो इसी में ही है. ठीक है. सो देर आर 7 schools, नहीं 1 2 3 4 5 6 schools total. ठीक है. वेदांता इज उत्तर मीमांसा और पूर्व मीमांसा. कंफ्यूजन होती है ना इस पॉइंट पे, होती है. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव कंफ्यूजन इन दिस पॉइंट? आई नो, इसलिए आई रोट इट लाइक दिस. ठीक है. अगेन वेर एवर यू गेट कंफ्यूज्ड यू हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट यू आर क्लियरिंग देयर एंड देन. अदरवाइज यू नो क्वेश्चंस तो टेस्ट सीरीज में भी ऐसे ही आते हैं, and then again you will get confused. So we will be doing these, not these schools precisely, because if again updated material will come and it's using this material or some topics, then only I'll explain you. But what I have to explain you is, after Vedanta, there were schools of philosophies developed by different acharyas, right? And who were those acharyas? Like Madhavacharya, Vallabhacharya, Adi Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, right? So they are talking about, you know, certain commonalities, and you have to do this topic from that perspective, which I am going to tell you. Whenever you are doing medieval Indian philosophies, so those philosophies which I talked about of acharyas like Shuddhadvait, Advait, right, of Madhavacharya, etc., they will be classified under medieval school of philosophy, right? So there are 2-3 things which you have to keep in mind: God, soul, and the concept of liberation. If you understand these philosophies from these 3 perspectives, you will be able to at least mark questions if they come from this topic. Okay? So let's now come to the main topic. So why am I explaining you this? Because there is a topic in your content in the personalities. One is Shankaracharya and the other one is Ramanujacharya, right? So let's come to Shankaracharya. So Shankaracharya's philosophy was called Advait. Okay? He established 4 mutts. What were mutts? Centers of learning, right? One was at Dwarka, which precisely was a center of learning for Samved. That Sringeri, Yajurved, Puri, Rigved, Joshimat, Atharved, right? So these 4 mutts are centers of learning for these 4 types of Veda, right? These places are important. He is a Shaivite or a Vaishnavite? Shaivite, okay? His teacher was Gaudpad. We will be understanding it. He is also credited for Shanmat sect and Smarta religion. I will be explaining you what is Shanmat sect or Shanmat worship, Smarta sect or Smarta worship, and Dasnami Sampradaya. Okay? These 3 keywords you have to keep in your mind. I am again repeating: Shanmat, Smarta worship, and Dasnami Sampradaya. Okay? Advait Vedanta, obviously we will be learning that as well. Gaudpad was his teacher. So what was Gaudpad or his philosophy? So basically Gaudpad was a Hindu philosopher, and he was also the scholar of Advait Vedanta, from where Adi Shankaracharya got influence and is credited to have developed a philosophy called Advait Vedanta, right? Now this Gaudpad was also an author of Manduk Karika as well. It is also known as Gaudpad Karika, right? Now what is Ajativad? Why we are doing Ajativad? Because it is the fundamental doctrine of his teacher Gaudpad, right? And as well as Advait Vedanta. Do you understand the meaning of real and unreal in philosophy? Real is very good. Real is permanent, and unreal is always changing. It does not have its own existence. It is dependent on something for its existence. Just remember this, real and unreal, because you often read this real, unreal reality in your philosophy or in Buddhism. Okay, so what does it say? It says that absolute is not subjected to birth, change and death. It is unborn, eternal. That means it believes in real existence, right? This empirical world of appearances is considered unreal and not absolutely existent. So to which he is crediting real entity? Absolute. Absolute is Brahma or God. rest other world, right, is changing, unreal. आ गया समझ में his philosophy? Who's real? Absolute, or the ultimate truth or God is real, right? And the empirical reality which we see, like this, why this is unreal? I can change its form. I can crush it. Now it will not be a bottle. So every other reality you see is unreal. Only absolute is real. Did you understand it? Okay. Now coming to, so what is the ultimate reality? Brahma, which is absolute. Okay. So this is again an infographic which you can use for your revision. 6 schools of Indian philosophy. Uttar Mimamsa is Vedant. How do you remember it? UV rays. You will never forget. UV rays, Uttar Mimamsa and Vedanta. Purv Mimamsa is purely based on ritual practices, whereas Vedanta is end of Vedas, right? We will be doing this school of philosophy because we have in our content Adi Shankaracharya and Ramanujacharya. Okay? Shall we start understanding these philosophy? It's very simple. Now we are coming to Dvait or dual school of philosophy by Madhavacharya. So it says that Brahma and the world are considered to be two equal real entities. ठीक है? So who all are two equal real entities? Brahma and world are two equally real entities and they are not related to each other in any way. This is Brahma, this is world. So if you draw a Venn diagram, you can infer this line in this form, that they are two equal real entities but they are not related to each other in any way, right? Brahma here is personal God, which is ascribed to Lord Vishnu, right? But what does it say next? It says it is the Brahma or Vishnu which has created the world, and the world stands separate from him, not related to him in any way, but rather in an inferior position, no link. Okay? So Vishnu or the God is creating this or controlling this world from his own power. That's why the people in the world are praying to God, because we believe that it is God which has created the world. Right? तीन चीजें हैं. They are two equal and real entities. Real means permanent, right? But they are not related to each other in any way. Brahma, according to Madhavacharya, is Vishnu, and it is he who has created this world. The world is rather in inferior position to God, right? So that's why this school of philosophy is what you can see every second person to believe in, right? We pray to God who has created this world so that we get things done from him, right? In a more simpler manner. Then comes your Vishishtadvait of Ramanujacharya. So we have Ramanujacharya in the content, right? So what does Ramanujacharya's philosophy says? Vishishtadvait. It is also known as qualified monism, right? It was the Madhvacharya school was known as dualism, right? Because there were two equal real entities, God and world. This is qualified monism. Matlab, one specific place or most important place is given to one, right? So it says Brahma and world are equally real entities, but world is not separate from Brahma. World and God are two equal real entities. This was in Madhvacharya's philosophy. Here, God and world are two equal real entities, but they both are not separate from each other. Some part is there in God of world, right? Some connection is there. So here also, like Madhvacharya's school, it says that Brahma is a personal, or Brahma is a personal God. God has created world out of his own self, right? And the part to which he bears relation to, that is known as qualified monism. Supreme is God. God has created the world, and the part to which he has created the world out of him is what you simply understand as qualified effect, right? That is why it is known as qualified monism. Okay? So like Madhvacharya school, here also God is Vishnu. आ रहा है ना समझ में अब? Yes. हाँ वो है. I'm not going too deep here because not everyone has philosophy as their option, neither do I have. But yes, itna simply bhi they will be able to understand, right? How many of you have philosophy as your optional? No? Okay. नहीं मेरा नहीं है. Then we come next to Advait, Shankaracharya. Now this is the also called as school of highest spirituality. It is also known as school of monism. Why? Because it considers only one reality, that is Brahma, who is absolute God. Rest other things are unreal, right? So it considers only Brahma the only reality, and the world which is existing, it's existing out of its own forces, scientific or physical forces of convulsion and expulsion, nivritti, evolution, right? Isiliye this Advait school is also considered to be the school of spirituality. There are many terms which we are using now. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. What do you mean by that? That we accept that there is an energy. We have not ascribed that energy with any particular God, right? But it also believes that there are certain forces which are making universe run, and that is purely scientific. ठीक है, इसीलिए जो scientists होते हैं, they are spiritual. It's said that they are spiritual. They do not discard totally the forces aspect, whether it is of God or science, right? Tabhi Higgs boson experiment is going on. Why have they called it as Higgs boson or God's particle? Because they believe that there is some kind of energy or absoluteness which they are not trying to ascribe to one God or any name. Okay? That is purely impersonal God, not personal God. In rest of the schools you have personal ascription to God in the form of Vishnu, Ram, different forms of God. But in Advait, you don't have any personal devotion, rather impersonal God. Understood? Easy tha na ye? Huh? One. No. Monism means one. मतलब ascribing affiliation to only one entity. हाँ हाँ. हाँ, दिस इज एब्सोल्यूट. इसका एक ही बनेगा, वर्ल्ड को नहीं दिखाएंगे. ठीक है. ओनली गॉड, ब्रह्मा इज दी reality. Dvait. It is dualistic monism. What does it say? It says that God has transformed himself into world and soul. World and soul are different from God. They could survive from the support of God only, or they could survive with the support of God only. They are separate but dependent. I'll show you the Venn diagram for this so that you can understand. So it says God, world and soul, right? उसके बाद क्या बोल रहे हैं? World and soul are different. God has transformed itself into world and soul. They can exist only with the support of God only. ठीक है? So they are separate but dependent for their existence. Right? Shodadvait, world and Brahma have real existence, but it believes that world is a part of Brahma. Brahma is world and world is Brahma. मतलब this. विशिष्ट अद्वैत में क्या था? This. Whereas in Shuddha Advait, world is Brahma and Brahma is world. Right? Do you understand Venn diagrams? So Brahma is world and world is Brahma. Vallabhacharya, he wrote commentaries on Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita. For him, Brahma here is Lord Krishna, not Vishnu. Again, this can be asked because I'll show you the question why I'm emphasizing on which school of philosophy prayed to which god. Right? God and soul are not distinct. So his philosophy is also known as Pushti Marg. Pushti Marg has been asked by UPSC. Right? So that's how you end this topic. ठीक है. Now coming to Shanmat, Dashnami Sampradaya and Smarta worship. So before the advent of Adi Shankaracharya, people used to worship more than 60 forms of God, 68 deities. But Adi Shankaracharya brought in worshipping of 6 primary deities, which is known as Shanmat. Now this Shanmat consists of worshipping of Shiva, Vishnu, Shakti, Ganesh, Surya and Skand. ठीक है? आ गया समझ में? So earlier we used to worship 68 forms of deities. After the advent of Sri Shankaracharya, this was concised to in the form of Shanmat religion, where the followers of Shanmat religion used to worship only 6 forms of gods. ठीक है. उसके बाद आते हैं हम स्मर्तास. So Smarta worship is what? Smartas basically have come out of Shanmat form of religion only. They worship or they give preference to one deity. So for example, I believe in Shanmat religion or Shanmat 6 gods, but my inclination will be on one god. Are you understanding? So they believe in the existence of gods, different forms of God, but unka devotion will be ascribed to one particular deity, right? So for example, you may believe in Ganesh, you may believe in Vishnu, but you will like to call or seek help more from Lord Shiva, right? So this is what is Smarta worship called, right? Then comes your Dasnami or Dashnami, Sannyasin or Samvratay. So basically these are those who believe in Shiva worship or Shiva worship, right? So what Shankaracharya did was that he made 10 orders. 10 orders mean 10, right? He made 10 orders of learning for his disciples. So each order is attached to the 4 mutts he has set up or established, right? So probably Aranya is attached to Jyotirmat, right? So it's like that. So Dasnami Sampradaya, you just have to remember that it was establishment of 10 orders set up by or rules of order set up by Adi Shankaracharya, which were ascribed or affiliated to the one of the 4 mutts. Okay? And heads of mutts are called as Mahants. Now coming to Ramanujacharya, his time period 11th century, right? He was an Alvar. Sri Adi Shankaracharya was Shaivite, right? And he is Vaishnavite. Okay? So he revived Bhakti movement. You now know what is Vishishtadvait qualified monism. Okay? 9 scriptures he wrote. इनके नाम important है, so you have to do. Then there are few things which have been importantly given. So one is that recently the Home Minister unveiled the statue of Ramanujacharya, which is called as Statue of Peace. Then there is Statue of Equality. So Statue of Peace is related to Ramanujacharya. Statue of Unity is dedicated to Vallabhbhai Patel, so you don't have to get confused in here. Okay? And there is another Statue of Peace which was unveiled by the PM again in Rajasthan, which is ascribed to Jain monk Acharya Shri Vijay Vallabh Sureshwar, right? So you don't have to get confused. That's why this information is given. Oh sorry, Statue of Equality is Ramanujacharya, Statue of Peace is ascribed to Jain monk, and Statue of Unity is ascribed to Vallabhbhai Patel. There are so many facts, even I am getting confused. What will happen to you? हाँ? Statue of Oneness भी है? है? कहाँ है? वो भी ऐड कर लेना, you can search. Saint Tukaram, he is a Bhakti saint from Maharashtra. Okay? So there are certain compositions which are developed by Bhakti saints. They have been called by different names. So in Maharashtra, the Bhakti saints use abhangas to propagate their message, right? Abhangas. So they are poetic compositions through which they give message. So what is this Bhakti movement all about? So Bhakti movement started from South India in the form of Alvars and Nerners, right? Then their disciples traveled to different places, and hence we see setting up of or rise of different Bhakti saints in different places, right? Like in Maharashtra we have Tukaram, then we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengal, right? We have Tulsidas, right? So we have different people settling in different regions after they got teachings from Bhakti saints originating from Tamil Nadu. Then what happened is that, so this is the time period of 8th to 9th century I am talking about, 7th to 9th century precisely, where Bhakti movement started in Tamil Nadu. Then from 11th to 12th or 11th to 13th century, we see rise of Bhakti philosophy. So initially Bhakti movement started with compositions, which I just told you, in the form of poems and songs. Then there was a time period during medieval times, specifically 11th to 13th century, where we see the rise of acharyas or medieval Bhakti philosophers, and we did those philosophies under that topic, right? उसके आगे जाते हैं, after learning from Bhakti acharyas and teachers, people spread over India. And another contribution of Bhakti movement is that through Bhakti movement we also saw rise of regional languages or literature, right? So that is a basic about Bhakti movement. So what you have to do, if any Bhakti saint is there, he is devotee of which god, He is primarily located in which region, or he taught in which region? So he is from Maharashtra. He composed Abhanga poetry. He is devoted to Lord Vitthab or Vitthal, to which Varkari tradition is also ascribed. Varkari tradition is where Lord Vitthab is worshipped. This Vari Varkari tradition has been asked by UPSC. That's why I'm specifically letting you know. This Vari pilgrimage or Vari Varkari tradition is ascribed to Saint Tukaram, where the Lord Vitthab or Vitthal is worshipped, right? So this is one of the type of questions which has been asked by UPSC. That's why I told you that you have to give special emphasis to gods also. So first statement says most of the Tyagraj Kritis were devotional songs in the praise of Lord Krishna. Okay, so Tyagraj was a devotee of Lord Ram, not Krishna. Okay. Tyagraj created several new ragas. Annamacharya and Tyagraj were contemporaries. So contemporaries of to each other should also be learnt. Annamacharya Kirtans were devotional songs in the praise of Lord Venkateshwar. That's why when you are doing bhakti saints, you will specify or keep in your mind these pointers that Lord or deity to which the devotional songs are sung in the praise of are to be done. Secondly, contemporaries, then places, their compositions were called by which terminology, all is what you will be doing from prelims point of view along with the time period. So for example, Ramanujacharya, 11th century, right? So this time period is also important. This is also a UPSC question from Bhakti Sufi movement. Saint Nimbark was a contemporary of Akbar. Saint Kabir was greatly influenced by Sheikh Ahmad Sirhindi, right? Again, the purpose is to show you, if you're revising this topic from your standard books, how you need to do it, right? This is also UPSC question. Vari Varkari Santals. Again, if you eliminate 3, if someone knows that this is belonging to tribes in Maharashtra, right, and not Santhal, so you will eliminate 3. Either the answer is 1 only or none of the above, right? So certain information is what you will be doing. Similarly, what do you understand from this question? If you are doing tribal communities or communities, their festivals or traditions are also important, as I pointed out earlier. Okay? Isko itna you can just skip, because Varkari tradition is taking the idol of Lord Vitthal to Pandharpur in Maharashtra, right? This is just a framework. If you are doing Bhakti Sufi, you have to do it in this format. Okay? Lachit Barfukan. Shall we end here or shall we continue? आपके बैग्स पैक हो रहे हैं, that's why I'm asking. नहीं, it's not like that. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. Very systematically information is given. What we are doing in the class is that, I can skip giving you information, I can only stick to material. I know that questions will be coming from the amalgamation of the static facts which I am giving you and the facts which are given in PT365. It's not as if this has been deliberately done, no. You will not get this compilation in any book also. Otherwise the material will be too much, right? It will be uploaded on the platform today, I think. Hana? So we'll continue in the next class. I think very few topics are left. Very few important topics are left. Okay? Even after we do this, we have to do major topic called Buddhism and Jainism. Buddhism, precisely, which is included in your magazine. See, I want feedback with respect to what actually you want me to do. Do you want me to explain everything, or do you want me to tell you certain important facts the way I'm doing with respect to Buddhism? There are few things, like for example, there are certain core concepts in Buddhist philosophy, right? What do you want? Because you know what happens, the way it's happening in the last two classes also, if I try to explain you the static portion more, the the time is very less for us to complete this whole magazine, right? So we can do one thing, that other important news or very small facts we can skip. That's why I asked you yesterday that do you want me to tell you that everything from other important news, or do I tell you the most important things? We can have extra class. It's not as if I will not finish off the syllabus. If there will be a class which I feel that it's required, we have not covered the syllabus, yes, we can have extra class. But the point is, so much of information you don't need. You understand what I'm trying to say? So much of information you are not needing from the material also. Only the framework and the most important facts which I'm telling you that you highlighted in your material, and that's about it, right? So I'll figure it out how to cut down on the content but not on important facts. Try to read Buddhism on your own before the class on Monday, so that you are understanding it a bit faster, right? Because I'm assuming most of you were not knowing about philosophies also, but very smoothly you had understood, right? There is no problem in philosophy. You will not have problem in Buddhism also, but Buddhism is a factual topic as well. Apart from philosophy, there are facts which you need to learn. Just for example, I told you about Nalanda, Bodh Gaya. It's more about fact. I need not read it for you, right? So that's what I'm expecting from you, right? All the best. Let's see on Monday what happens, and try to revise what we have done. From the content, if I'm telling you that this information is wrong, you have to note it down, right?